Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Highly Illogical podcast. My name is Trevor Shelby. I'm your host, and joining me today are my co-hosts, Timothy, Tim, Reese, Scripture, Tom, Thomas, Buddha, Kennedy. Thank you guys for joining me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, howdy. I mean, you got to give us some sort of clue that you're done introducing us. You know?
Your names were done. So, how have you guys?
So I've got a new segment.
You got a new segment?
Yeah.
I thought
it's Unsolved Mysteries of Hollywood.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. That sounds like an awesome segment.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm a little confused. Wasn't that? Okay.
That's my segment.
Okay. All right.
Well, so this week, how have you guys been? What is new with you all?
Oh man, I'm doing good. Rocking it. Everything's coming up. Reese over here, or Tim, whichever.
Yeah,
they're both coming up.
Yeah.
I'm actually really good. You know, been on vacation. I caught a fish, which everyone thinks is a lie. You know, first fish in several years, and you know, I finally catch one, and people say I photoshopped a picture. People say I got a dead fish off the ground. People say I bought it from a fisherman. My friends here on either side of me are the ones who said I bought it.
Yeah, well,
assholes.
you know, I know how it is. I mean,
Yeah. Just feel like you're like one of those 5G Illuminatis that we can't trust. I can't buy it. You didn't catch that fish.
Yeah.
I caught the fish.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. But you did have kind of an adventure from what you told me. You ran into a guy that had a big motor.
Oh, yeah. So, as I was pulling in yesterday after I caught that nice little fish that people say is fake, I was rowing in, and this guy was putting together a paddle board. You know, he's like drilling stuff in. He's like putting it together from scratch, and he's inflating the sides. What the hell was that? Sorry.
Today's guest will be the ghost at Tom's house.
But anyway, so he's putting them together, and I was like, "Is that a paddleboard?" He's like, "Yeah, it's motorized." I was like, "Awesome," you know. So he's sitting there. He's like, I was like thinking a trolling motor, because I've got a friend who has a kayak who has a trolling motor on it. I was like, cool. And then I'm sitting there after I get my kayak up to my car, about to put it on. I look over, and he's got a 10 horsepower outboard, like hand motor, boat motor on the back of that thing. I was like, is that still classified as a paddle board, or is it a boat now with that engine? He's like, well, I went to go and tag it, because I thought, you know, it had to be tagged as a boat. They said as long as it's 10 horsepower or under, it can be a paddleboard still. I was like, awesome. So I'm thinking about putting a 10 horsepower motor on the back of my kayak.
Heck yeah.
You know, I could pull a steer on that thing now.
That would be a little crazy. To me, that you said that's still classified as a paddleboard. I don't know if that's true. I would call that a motorboard at that point.
But it's not considered a boat, so you don't have to tag it as a boat.
Because you know you're not paddling anymore.
It's like somebody
not paddling anymore. You could pull a couple skiers on the back of that thing with as much power as you're putting out.
That would be dangerous. But yeah, in a kayak especially, in my kayak, my feet go inside it. So I can only imagine me being upside down or flipping because I was going too fast, and then me coming back up and realizing my kayak is still going because it has a motor, and I'm in the middle of the lake, and I can't swim very well. Yeah, I'll blow my whistle one time. Maybe somebody will hear my last breath
as you're going down.
So
I'll never let go.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that's a bit
In
much.
other news.
Anyways, okay, so the actor, Gregor Clegane, I don't know if I'm saying his name right.
The Mountain.
The Mountain from
Yeah.
Game of Thrones issued a challenge or a fight to Conor McGregor from UFC. And they have a video on YouTube. It's just them sparring. The update to that, from what I've heard, is that Gregor, for some reason, Gregor is the one that wants a rematch, which doesn't make any sense to me because he's the one that is flippin' and like dwarfs a UFC fighter. But the video is pretty good, and I was going to see if Trevor wanted to pull it up and show everybody.
I have it, and I am getting it prepared
Okay.
for our viewing pleasure. This has got a, this was a few years ago, but it is very comical.
Look how big that dude is.
Oh yeah. Have you seen the dude like deadlift? Man.
Oh my gosh.
That's a UFC fighter, and it looks like a 12-year-old kid with a beard.
He does.
But he's also a middleweight UFC fighter.
He's not a heavyweight, but it's
all you'd have to do is bear hug him and then just squeeze.
He kicked him in the stomach and it didn't even make him jiggle a little. But this is pretty much it. It's not a real fight. It's just them, sparring. But
yeah,
I would be intensely interested to see what happens in the theoretical real fight that they're supposed to have, I guess.
Yeah. No, that would be. I don't know. I don't know where I'd put my money. Honestly,
really?
this is being a trained fighter. I would actually probably go for McGregor, just because I could see it. So I could see the training and all that kicking in. He's not a.
But the thing is,
a boxer, but he's he's trying out.
The Mountain.
And the other guy's an actor.
Yeah.
The Mountain can bench press 500 pounds. So all he has to do is really.
That's
tap.
it. No.
Well, probably more, but I'm just.
Probably more.
He has the deadlift world record of like 1,900 pounds, but. I don't know how much he bench presses.
I don't know. I'm not a big expert on the UFC. I watch fake fighting more than I do any of that stuff. So
speaking of fake fighting,
so I honestly I would put my money on McGregor. McGregor is a great. I watched. I got in the hype of when he went boxing, and
Pacquiao.
No, not Pacquiao. It was what's his name?
Money Mayweather.
Yeah, and so I got caught up in that hype, and so I know the dude can probably go the distance. With someone that size, he just it's all it is training and having a plan, I guess. So that was someone that size. So. There used to be a boxer in Russia that was just, I don't know if he still boxes or not. This is years ago.
That was in Rocky IV. He didn't exist.
No, you're thinking of Rocky. I'm talking about an existing person that was like ridiculously tall, and he had a huge arm reach. And the announcers, they just joked that his arms were so long that all you had to do was get on the inside and just punch up. And in that fight, that's what the dude did and knocked him out. So, so it's, interesting. So
now I got a question for you guys. Have either of you ever put money on a UFC fight?
No.
Oh, damn.
I'm
in that boat by myself. Oh, okay. Well, it wasn't a good bet. It was the Iceman versus Keith Jardine, and I put my money on the Iceman.
Well, all I know is that the last UFC fight that I watched was a disappointment because it lasted 3 seconds.
Yeah, and I didn't win. I don't know if you guys saw that fight, but Jardine wore his legs out.
I'm not the biggest UFC fan. I've seen just a handful. So
I kind of like UFC. I like MMA and UFC, but you know, the last fight I watched lasted 3 seconds, and it pissed me off.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. That's like back in the day with the
kind of way.
I'm like, I paid the
Mike
cover
Tyson
to get in this bar, and I watched a whole 3-second fight. The hell. So, speaking of fake fighting, Seth Rollins and the man, I can't think of her name right now.
His wife or whatever.
Yeah, his wife. They call her the man. They're having a baby.
Yeah, I saw that. That was very cool.
Which makes me, you know, kind of frightful, because if I was having sex with that woman and she's like, "Who's the man? Who's the man?" I'm like, "I am, hopefully," you know.
Oh wow! Oh, that's terrible.
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch.
Yeah. Well, that's something, Tom.
Out of touch. I don't know who you're talking about.
Pro wrestlers. I've been out of the loop since this whole social distancing thing, because they've had these empty arena matches, and they need a crowd. They need a crowd for professional wrestling.
It makes it look less fake.
Yeah. So.
Well, anyway, let's get Tim back into the conversation.
Yes, definitely.
Hey, I'm okay being a third wheel. Don't worry about it. You two are cute together.
Yeah.
Hey. Always one third.
I was thinking for our, something I was going to bring up was professional wrestling. It's actually, there's a new Star Trek book coming out. And this is one of our first conversations about Star Trek on the show. And
I like
it.
Yeah.
I would like to bring it up. It's a book I'm excited about because it's about Star Trek Voyager. And it's a new Voyager book. And it's written by some of the guys, or one of the guys he's been writing for Picard.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
do tell.
Later on this year, I don't think there's a whole lot of information about it, but it's coming out later in the year, and I'm quite excited. And because we all know Janeway is the best captain in the Star Trek series. We've all agreed.
No, we have not. No.
We have all agreed.
The bitch got her ship lost on her first mission. What kind? If it was Kirk, Picard, or Cisco, they would just had someone create a temporal distortion and then get the ship back. But no, she got I'm Janeway. I'm the first female captain.
She's not the first, but first for a TV series.
Yeah, first for a series, but
yeah. Well,
it shows you how good her engineer is too, because he would have thought of that. Geordi would have been like, we can create a temporal distortion using the whatchamacallit.
Whatchamacallit.
Yeah.
That's what
the deflector ship.
Voyager was really big about tachyons. They always, like every other episode, they're like, now if we focus the tachyons in that direction, we should be able to do warp 10
and run into some dinosaurs.
And so, but I don't know. The thing about Voyager for me was it was very Borg heavy, and that was my favorite. That was the later seasons. That was one of my favorite things about the show. Of course, there was 7 of 9, who is near and dear to my heart. And also, I don't know. I like that it was one of the first Star Trek series. Besides, I will say Deep Space Nine was this as well. So it's not the first. But it's one of the first Star Trek series that every episode kind of connected in a way. So it wasn't like, because to me the Next Generation was like kind of like the older series, the original series, where it's like adventure, unless you got a two-parter, or like later on in the series when you had like things like Locutus and stuff happen. So with Voyager, it was kind of like an ongoing epic series for me, and less of, adventure. Let's go to this planet. We're here. We're there.
That's where, they got that from DS9, not from,
I think it has more to do with, you can't, like, TV shows like that just aren't much of a thing anymore. Like, everything has a connect. I don't know. You couldn't do Star Trek the original series now. You couldn't do that.
I don't know.
That's why they've come out with Picard, and every episode is building on a story. Like, that's what every TV show is now.
I feel like Seth MacFarlane is killing it with although I don't know if they're going to make any more of the Orville, but I think he's killing it with the Orville.
Those aren't linear stories. Those are,
some of them are, but that falls more the Next Generation feel, I think. But that series, the Orville, I think I was telling you, Tom, that if that was considered Star Trek canon, if that was in the Star Trek universe, I would have to ditch Janeway, because that series is amazing.
I love that.
Yes,
that is awesome.
However,
awesome.
If we're counting, you told me something that makes me kind of want to rethink my list of captains as well. But Janeway will always be the last. You told me that Worf is actually commanding the Enterprise E now.
That was in the Picard universe. Worf is taken over as captain, and he.
Oh, nice.
That's in a book, I guess. I don't know. That's what they was in the news.
You have to, but the thing is, he's going to be kind of down a ways, because I can only imagine how many ships he's destroyed, because his initial reaction is ramming speed.
Exactly.
Yes. Who's your favorite? All right. Star Trek wise, who is your favorite? Both of you. Favorite bad guy. Favorite like race.
Favorite bad race?
Yeah. Evil presence.
Ooh.
In any of the series. It could be any of the religious crap in DS9. It could be any of the,
That hold on. That's a good question.
Well, I agree with you, Trevor. Actually, I think that one of the best antagonists that have shown up have to be the Borg. I think they are intense, scary.
I'm thinking the race of aliens who helped the Dominion in DS9. I can't think of the name of the race.
That's Deep Space Nine is my weak point, because I watched that series once, and it's hard for me because it's very religious, and I can't get into it. I just can't get into that series. Mine is split, because it's the person that introduced them to the Borg versus the Borg, and it's the Qs versus the Borg. The Q was like, he could snap his fingers.
Godlike,
and you were done.
He was awesome, man.
So
cute, yeah.
I believe his name was John Delancey, the actor.
John Delancey.
I met him at a Star Trek convention. I think it was the second convention I went to. I actually had a conversation with him, and he was like, so you got an in, so we're gonna get him on the show. Exactly. He was like, I was a little kid at the time, and he was like, "Do you read?" And I was like, "Yes, sir." and then I took that to heart, and so
right.
And so
he inspired you.
He inspired me. Not really, but yeah, we could say that. Maybe I'll get him on the show. He's so cool. No, the first person I met was Scotty. So.
Oh, nice.
And he called me a bastard. So it was we went up to get our autograph, and he looked at me, because I was really little then, and he goes, "Oh, not another little bastard." And I was like, because he had a whole conversation about how he's just it annoys him that
And he was
every
Scottish,
generation of people.
No, he was actually American.
What was he?
Yeah, the actor was American.
Oh.
He was saying that it annoyed him because every generation loves Star Trek and everybody knows him and he can't get away from it. The fact that even the littlest of little kids are like, Scotty! And, and he's just like, how do you know?
So, fun fact about him, he didn't have a middle finger on his right hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got it blown off on D-Day.
Another fun fact was his ashes were blown out into space. So, yeah. So, we'll raise
Hunter
a
S.
glass to
Thompson
that.
was shot across salute. Hunter S. Thompson was shot across his own estate. I know he's not Star Trek, but I admire a man that can do that much LSD and not die.
Yeah.
Well, died later on.
That's when the drugs kicked in.
Yeah. I actually worked with a guy. He was my boss, and he had spent some time. He actually met Gene Roddenberry, and he had told me the story about. I believe there were drugs involved, and he kind of came to in his mansion, and in Hollywood, and it was like a 24-hour party happening at his house at the time. And it was, he said it was just a trip being there. And he's like an ultimate sci-fi fan. So way beyond me. He has like an actual piece of the Stargate. So cool. He bought that in an auction. And I don't know how much he spent on that, but it was like
probably an arm and a leg.
Screen used piece of a Stargate. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, welcome to my segment. What happened today, then? On this day, Billy Wyman of Rolling Stones came out with his first solo album, Monkey Grip, in '74. And Prince came out with his single, Raspberry Beret, in '85. But also on this day, in 1492, there was an epic rebellion in the town of Kimberland in North Holland. The Cheese and Bread Rebellion. Y'all get ready for this. This is some good stuff. All right. The peasants of Kimberland rose up against its Earl John James Percival III and his taxation and military policies. In this epic battle, the most hated of tax collectors were slain, and the rebels stormed and destroyed 2 castles. That's pretty impressive, I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Final notes on this. The downsides of this battle were that 200 peasants lost their lives, and that the name of the battle was named after the flag that they flown. And one has to wonder how they came up with such an epic name as the Cheese and Bread Rebellion. And I have imagined it, and I think it went a little something like this. Hans, what should be flown by the rebels? Well, Wilhelm, I have a nice banner from my restaurant we could use. Oh, what is it? Well, it's a loaf of bread and a roll of cheese. Yeah, I think this will work. And that will be all for what happened today, then.
I love their voices. Oh, wow. Oh. So
I need to work on my German accent, obviously. I was focusing in. I was like, okay, don't mess up the German accent. There might be Germans that will listen to this and judge you.
Wow.
I don't know if you've ever been a part of our shows before. You would know that all of our fans come from the Middle East.
Yeah, they do. Our first YouTube series. Yes.
So, you guys have any thoughts on the cheese and bread rebellion?
It makes me hungry. I mean,
Right?
Yeah, I kind of want a grilled cheese now.
Yeah. You know,
Right.
I would almost think that this would be a French rebellion, not
French
German. You know?
You would think. You would think.
I wonder what kind of cheese it was.
Lindenberg.
Yeah. Wow.
It was a Gouda.
I don't know, but it was
I feel
Gouda.
like I should not have said that. I feel like I should not have said that.
Oh, that's great.
Take back now, can't I?
Oh, wow. No, that's going in. Wow. That is great.
Oh, God.
Oh shit, I just killed Tom.
Oh, that's crazy. We'll give him a moment. Let's talk about wrestling, Tim. So
Goldberg, is he still a thing?
yeah, he is. He
Yes,
was actually a champion. What was it, like a few months ago?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm not that far
Like
behind.
going into WrestleMania.
Yeah, went into WrestleMania. He did not leave WrestleMania with the championship, but
Now, okay,
Yeah.
so the announcer guy that did the Micro Machine commercials for our older crowd that knows who that is, and for our younger crowd, that was a person.
yeah,
It
was not a machine.
He died recently, didn't he?
Did he?
I believe
That's
so.
sad. The Micro Machine guy, the guy that talked real fast.
And he was an announcer for one of the rest. I think WWE, right? Wasn't he an announcer for that?
No,
Are you talking about Mean Gene?
You're thinking of Mean Gene Okerlund, but I don't know about they looked a lot alike.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
it wasn't the
looks
same person. Oh,
It was not
my
the same person.
freaking world is destroyed now.
So
I in fact know nothing about wrestling. So yeah, we've established this.
Fun fact, I used to work at the hospital that Goldberg's dad used to practice at.
Boy, how would you like that dude's dad to give you a rectal exam?
Well,
I'm assuming.
He was a gynecologist.
Oh, actually, that probably was better. He was probably really popular.
So before we get to my segment, did y'all hear about the Brian May of Queen ripping to shreds his asshole while gardening?
No, what are
Wait,
you
what?
talking about?
He was hospitalized because he was gardening, and he squatted down and ripped his glute muscles to shreds.
Ooh. That sounds like that could turn into
That's
a
some
shitty
metal
situation.
gardening. I think we've been gardening wrong, because if you're not ripping your glutes to shreds, I mean, good Lord.
Wow. That's
nothing
insane.
to say to that. That's
Okay.
That's a metal way of doing it, man.
indeed.
So for our
So
audio
metal.
listeners, you won't get this, but I'm gonna show you guys. This is the Micro Machine guy.
Oh yeah.
This is what he looks like.
The fastest talker in the world.
Yeah. And this is Mean Gene Okerlund.
Oh,
See?
Okay.
See how
you can't
Yeah.
blame.
Yeah, you can't. We don't blame you.
I don't blame you at all.
They are both
They could be
gorgeous,
brothers.
gorgeous men, right?
Yes. Both very good talkers, I'll put it that way.
Indeed.
So
Made a career out of it, both.
yes.
Of them. Yeah.
Made a career out of talking to people.
Yep, pretty much.
Now I want
So-
to know if the Micro Machine guy's dead too. Sorry.
Not that we want it to happen, but
No.
let's
He's my hero. He's like my first favorite rapper.
he's still alive. Years active,
Nice.
1979 to present as
Nice.
as an active person. I don't know what that means. It's on Wikipedia. It just says years active, but he was born in 54. So he wasn't active until 79 though. He was like, bump on the log. And then
Okay, well, he is my current favorite rapper then.
there you go.
Although I'm sure he's not doing it anymore, but man, that dude had some lyrics.
Yeah, well,
They were about little toy cars, but whatever.
yeah, well, there you go. I love Micro Machines, man.
Right?
Okay, so let's move on to Tom's segment, shall we?
Oh dear God, what the?
Sorry, it just makes me giggle.
What? Invention time, invention in time. Would you like to hear an invention of mine? What the hell?
Yes.
Oh,
So good.
What the hell?
oh my gosh. That that took me so long to put together.
The best. So good.
It was that was I spent all morning putting that together.
You took
a few
audio
days
from
ago.
our first call. Really?
and I had to single out audio. I had to find some stock footage. I had to find some music to throw to it. It was hilarious. I giggled the whole time. All right, so what's your invention for invention time today?
I don't know if I want to share this or not. Anyway, so my invention this week is actually I thought of this many years ago, like 5-6 years ago. It could save people's lives, it could save people from getting date raped, all sorts of stuff. This is actually a serious invention. So,
You know they invented the whistle, right?
No, that's not what I'm talking about. So you go to a bar. A lady goes to a bar, sets her drink down. What happens? She gets refeed, right? She goes to a concert or a music festival. You know, someone could drop a pill in. You know, stuff like that. Well, what if you had a lid with a lock on it that could go over their drink, and only they had a key? Or bars could get it and could loan it to them, you know, and they have a set of keys and the lady has a set of keys. It can also help for people who've been overserved. You know, if the bartender thinks you've been overserved, you still have a drink, they plop a lid on that saying, hey, you ain't drinking no more. You know, and then they put a lock on it, you know, and they can't open it. I think this is a good idea.
I think it's interesting.
It's a chastity belt for your drink.
I call it the bar lock.
The bar lock. That's a good name. I'd call it the prohibition or whatever it's called. Prohibition.
Oh, there it is. He got it. He got it, folks.
The Prohibition Cup. I don't know.
But think about it. I mean, you know, people. I've got at least 3 or 4 friends who've been roofied before.
Yeah.
And, you know, it is a big problem. So why not?
Hey, Tom, I will say that the common denominator here is you, so I'm not going drinking with you, buddy.
I wasn't there.
Oh, my bad.
And this could be a product for men as well. I commonly worry about this for me. I'm a good-looking man. And this could happen to me easily.
You would have to go out.
I would actually. I have heard of a product similar, not a lid per se. I have heard of a straw that will change colors if it detects a roofie medication in it.
Yeah, I heard about that. That was a college kid that came up with that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The pretty young one, I think.
Yeah, I think you can actually order the straws online or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Straws kill turtles.
It might be a paper straw. You never know.
I mean, and mine's reusable.
I'm going to give you props because I like the looking out for turtles thing as a herper for our listeners. That it's somebody that looks for reptiles and amphibians for photography, and I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Just wanted to say.
Whenever I find a snake, I send a picture to Tim. So
you know.
Yeah,
Mine's not
and I
single use.
identify it.
Yes.
And you can make them for beer bottles, for cans,
Mhm.
different size glasses, because you got different types of glasses that are used in bars and stuff.
It's a good idea.
Make them for solo cups.
I like it. It's not a bad deal.
I mean, we could not like it, because if we didn't like it, then it would just totally paint us as people who roofie people.
Yeah.
Fucking hate that idea.
Yeah,
Dude.
it's stupid.
There's just like so many problems with it. I can't name them right now, but believe me, we got some problems here, and we'll talk about it later.
All right. Well, this week is my very first segment for our show, and I've worked on this. This is something that I've been learning a little bit of editing. So, our audio listeners, if you want to see the video on some of this, it's on YouTube. If you don't, then you should still come to YouTube and subscribe to us. We surprisingly have gotten a number of subscribers so far. I've been very excited about that.
Oh, and we have we have the Instagram up.
Yes.
Oh, what?
Very cool.
Yeah.
He nailed it.
Very cool. So I'm going to share with you guys my video that I put together. See what you guys think, and then we're going to talk about this afterwards. So this is a Hollywood mystery that is a total mystery.
Mystery.
It's a mystery of mysteries.
It's a mystery of mysteries. So here we go.
Virginia Caroline Rappe, a beautiful silent film actress and model, attended a party in San Francisco at the St. Francis Hotel. Although this was during Prohibition, this 3-day party had no trouble finding liquor. The story that takes place during this party not only involves the end of a career of Hollywood's biggest comedian, but the death of one of its rising stars. By most accounts, Virginia was a bit of a party girl, and this party had a lot of alcohol to provide. So much, in fact, that the hotel ran out of liquor and they had to go find liquor somewhere else. So what does a 1920s hotel party look like? Well, it looks something like this. This photo was taken by police during the investigation. This was shortly after the party and the aftermath that was left. The man responsible for the party was Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle, one of Hollywood's biggest comedians of his time. He performed with the likes of Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton. But after this party, he was simply known as the man who killed Virginia Rappe. By some accounts, this is what happened. Virginia left the party to an adjacent room. This was actually Fatty Arbuckle's room. Shortly after, Fatty went into his room as well. Minutes later, Fatty Arbuckle returned to the party in a bit of a panic, stating that Miss Rappe needed help and she was sick. 2 days later, she died in the hospital. Their time alone fueled suspicion. Statements were then made to police, which then eventually led to the arrest of Fatty Arbuckle. Fatty spent the next few weeks in jail. He was awaiting bail, and the entire time he was maintaining his innocence. But Fatty was also facing trial on another front. He was facing a trial of public opinion. The newspapers were all skewed against him. They had all condemned him and stated that he committed the murder. Fatty Arbuckle had to endure 3 trials to finally be acquitted for the murder of Virginia Rappe. By his statement, he entered his room, found her sick on the floor in the bathroom. He picked her up on her request and took her to the bed. He then asked for help and a doctor was called to the room. The doctor believed Miss Rapé had just drinking too much. Although he was found innocent, Fatty Arbuckle was blacklisted in Hollywood. Although it was very hard, Fatty was on his way to making a comeback in Hollywood. On the day that he died, he actually signed a contract with Warner Brothers to do a feature film. But the question still remains, what actually happened to Virginia Rapé? How did she die? Was Fatty Arbuckle just in the wrong place at the wrong time? Or did he get away with murder?
Are we all thinking the same thing? It sounds like somebody could have used Tom's invention.
Yeah, no.
See?
I thought that as well. I really did.
But really, I couldn't take it. I gotta ask, how come you couldn't do that voice when we were doing the mockumentaries? You know,
I don't know what you're talking about.
When we were doing the truth documentaries, you actually sounded like you were doing a documentary there.
Yeah, well, I was. So
I'll tell you what, I'm recording my next segment like that. I like it.
What kind of
fun.
What kind of sick one-upsmanship are you doing by telling us doing that?
I got editing software and I had time, so this is going to be an ongoing thing with this segment.
I like it though; it's good.
It's okay, so
and really interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so this is highly regarded as Hollywood's first ever big scandal. Okay, because you had an up-and-coming starlet that dies at a party. This party, it was a 3-day party, and
yeah, they partied like rock stars. I saw the pictures.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. They destroyed that room. But okay, so she becomes sick. She goes into the room that was Fatty's room. He finds her, and he's alone with her, and that's where the first big issue is nobody besides Fatty knows what's happened in that room. And so you really come up with the question of, did he do it or didn't he do it? What really, I guess, kind of brought this together, and what I didn't mention in the video is that her autopsy, they tried to suggest that she died because she had a ruptured bladder. So the Miss Rapé, her manager, tried to say that he used a foreign object and had raped her with it. Well, they suggested that she had a abortion, and back then, that was kind of a back alley kind of thing.
Way taboo. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the autopsy had listed that there was no signs of an abortion or a childbirth ever happening. But I also think they had zoned in on him at that time, that they weren't looking. And I think because even in the autopsy, it names Fatty Arbuckle as the person that probably did it. I mean, who puts that in the autopsy? I mean, seriously.
Well, nobody now. That's a different time.
Yeah. So it was originally suggested, and this has been in different types of lore, but it was originally suggested that he used a piece of ice, and then it got turned into a Coke bottle. And so if you've ever heard the story about somebody using a Coke bottle that killed somebody, that was where it came from, basically.
But what all could he have done?
To puncture
in your video,
a bladder.
you said it was only 2 minutes.
Yeah, it was only a few minutes. So
how could he have done all that in like 2 minutes?
the only reason the police focused on him in the beginning was there was a eyewitness that said on her Miss Rape's dying words was that he killed me, he killed me, he killed me, and suggesting Fatty Arbuckle did it. Well, the woman that said this, they couldn't even bring her into trial as a witness because she had a rap sheet a mile long and she changed her story 15 times. She told every tabloid in the world that would listen her story, and it was different each time. So it's kind of like, who do you believe at this point?
Now,
So,
how did he die? Did he die of a heart attack?
He died of a heart attack.
Okay.
So and that's the other sad part was his original contract was, I believe it was with Warner Brothers, and this was back in 1921, and they provided the attorneys for the first trial, and I believe the second trial was on his dime, and then the third trial, Buster Keaton actually forked out the cash to pay for his attorneys, and Buster Keaton.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And Buster Keaton, actually, they were such good friends. You know the stuff that Keaton would do, where like the part of a building would fall down, and he would be standing.
The window would go over him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the exact same things that Fatty would do. Fatty Arbuckle did the exact same things. He worked in several movies with Buster Keaton.
Well, Fatty Arbuckle did a movie with him, didn't he? Where Fatty Arbuckle was the cook.
Yeah, he did. They did movies together, and he with Charlie Chaplin, and they both spoke out for him. But then it was, I guess, taboo to do so because the studios didn't want them thinking, well, the studio is supporting Fatty Arbuckle, because they didn't have any real support in him. They let him go on his contract for non-compete while he was in jail. So like he couldn't not non-compete, but he couldn't for not acting in a movie, basically, or not being available. So they just used that to get him to fire him, basically. And I think it was 1931. So this is like 10 years later after the trials. He finally gets another contract with Warner Brothers to do a feature film, and he dies that night. So
damn,
that is really sad. I honestly, to me, I think Fatty was framed. I think that they had no real evidence, and I don't think there's really time to do the crime. I mean, to kill her, because they were trying to suggest that he killed her with his weight. So he crushed her.
Oh,
so he belly flopped on her?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, she was on the bed and he jumped on her, very
maybe, but I don't see it.
Brace yourself, I'm coming in, doll.
Yeah. But
I mean, I belly flopped on a girl one time. She
oh my goodness.
Coming in. Oh. But yeah, it's a sad story, and one that will never really be solved. I am in the camp of probably an abortion gone wrong. So that's
and at that time, nobody would want to put that in the news, especially when it's like a big name like that. Mm-hmm. They would want to protect the name. That is a serious taboo. And it's sad that might happen, and that this man might catch a case just to keep that taboo covered up.
Yeah, in the 90s, Chris Farley actually wanted to do a movie about this, and he wanted to star in it, and they had gotten a director together, but that was sadly right before he passed away. So
it would have been Chris Farley in a drama like that.
Yeah, it was going to be his first real drama movie. Like, so,
I don't know. I watched the backstory of Chris Farley's life. I think that dude would have nailed the drama.
I've seen it. I've seen a lot of documentaries on how he was and stuff like that. But I've never been able to focus on anything besides his little slapstick comedies that he's done.
Which he nailed. He was awesome. He was an amazing
Yeah.
actor. I
And of
love
course,
that guy.
the best dramatic actors are awesome comedic actors because it takes more to make you laugh than it does to make you cry.
Yeah,
I mean, look
I
at
could see that.
Robin Williams, great dramatic
I-
actor, but he is the best comedic actor.
But wouldn't that make like Adam Sandler like the greatest actor ever?
Mm.
Did you see? Did you see the end of that remote movie?
No.
Oh,
I mean,
no. Yes, I have, and
It was pretty dramatic. I mean,
quite dramatic, but it shouldn't have happened. No offense to Sandler, but that dude is only comedy.
Yeah.
No.
but I mean, but on another note, I mean, look at Jim Carrey and
Yeah.
Man in the Moon. I mean, he was great in that.
23. Nailed 23.
Yeah, 23 was great. We actually talked about that the other day. I like that movie.
And then, who else is there? Tom Hanks was a very funny actor to begin with in his early days,
Mm-hmm.
and now he's like a 9 million time Oscar winner.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite Tom Hanks film? Go.
Ooh, really? You're gonna make me do this?
Yeah, you have to name your favorite. You can't say, well, this one's good and this one's good. I want your favorite.
My favorite.
Favorite one.
Big.
Megan
Big
says
was
big.
good.
That's a good one.
Big was good, but
I'll start off.
Okay, go ahead.
I guess I'm going to have to go with Castaway. I just love Castaway.
I didn't like
You didn't? I loved
no, I didn't
Castaway.
like it.
It was one of those stories that it's like you're trapped on an island, what would you do kind of thing.
No. And I don't discredit his acting ability in that because him making fire was amazing and all that.
Made fire!
the fact that the first hour and a half of the movie is him by himself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The story kind of dragged for me.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that Turner and Hooch would be my
There
favorite.
you go.
I don't know if any of our listeners have ever seen it because it's not
I'm sure.
overly popular movie, but it was an amazing movie. I don't care what anybody says.
It was good.
So there was this dog. No, anyways.
See, I'm torn between Toy Story and the Mr. Rogers movie.
Haven't seen it yet. Was it that good?
Oh, it's amazing. And he wasn't even the lead actor in it.
Now, is this something I can watch with my daughter?
Yes.
Like, okay, there's nothing about him sniping people.
That's
You know what I'm talking about.
that is actually a made up rumor.
Is it really?
Yeah.
He isn't actually a sniper? Oh,
No.
And I can actually attest to this because I met his wife one time.
Oh.
His wife was amazing. Right before he died, not long before he died, he and his wife are music educators, and she was doing a piano masterclass at UCO when I was there, and I went and saw it.
No way.
Yeah. So I mean, she's pretty cool herself.
Very cool. I haven't seen the movie yet. I need to see it.
Yeah, you need to. It's a great movie.
Well, this last week, I was able to do some recording with my daughter, Natalie. We were playing the 7 Days to Die game, and we'll have that come out soon on our YouTube for Highly Logical Gaming. We had quite a fun time. We bashed some zombies in the head and then started establishing a base. We found a big 2-story building to kind of set up shop, and there is a very
something I will be joining as soon as I catch up on some payments.
Yeah, definitely.
I have to buy the game.
Yeah. They I don't know, I really enjoy it. There is a part in there that once you watch it you'll get it, but there's a bird on top of the building, and I didn't see it at first, and it created some very moments. I will say it's a zombie bird apparently, and it started attacking me.
28 days later type of situation there.
Yeah, pretty much. But
As soon
I
as
don't know,
I
it's a
figure
lot of
out
fun.
how to record me playing COD Mobile, I'm gonna get some of my stuff up there.
Yeah, we need to look into that because Streamlabs actually has a mobile app. I just don't know how it works. We need to how I learn everything is via YouTube now.
Yeah.
So I just
because I made it to the second round of Call of Duty Mobile's tournament.
Yeah.
And that starts in June. I want to film myself playing the next rounds.
That's very cool. Yeah, you're getting into tournaments. You're a little pro gamer going on there with that mobile app.
Yeah, I'm elite status there.
Yeah, pop that collar, buddy. Pop that collar.
Pop it, and then you're also like you're going up in views and likes on TikTok and everything else. I've
only got 100.
Only got 100. Only got 100.
130. Man, there are people on there with like 55 million followers, and I got a lowly 130.
Are there even 55 million people on that thing?
Well, obviously, the person who has the most has 55 million followers.
That's crazy.
And she's a 15-year-old girl.
That's insane.
There's that many pervs in the world? Just kidding.
Apparently.
I don't follow her, so I don't follow her.
Good cover. Good cover. Good cover.
No, I don't, actually. I really don't. Oh, if you guys are into the Chive, this is one of their new shirts.
Oh, very cool.
No, wait. Hold on. Dang. I can't get... How do I zoom in on his screen? I want to see the shirt.
I don't know.
Dude.
There's got to be a way you could do it.
I like Jason Mewes as a orangutan. That's awesome. By the way, I got to meet Jason Mewes live.
That's what's her name? The monkey from Jane Silent Strike Back.
Oh, okay. I thought. Never mind. Oh, well, I mean, I saw Kevin Smith. I assumed that Jason Mewes was the monkey. My bad. I hope Jason Mewes never listens to this. Because I met him, and he signed an autograph for me, and he's an amazing dude. Now that,
he is an amazing dude. And
I didn't get to meet Kevin Smith.
Have you guys seen the reboot?
Not yet. I will be watching that.
So all of their...
I love those guys.
The Mewes... Jason Mewes' daughter's in it, who's cute as hell. And, of course, Kevin Smith's daughter, the whole family is in it. So,
if you want great advice, if you want...
go somewhere else.
No, come to us. We have the best answers for your questions. And if you... Let's say you've got an issue going on, right? Right? That rash got a little bigger and you don't know what to do now. So it's uncomfortable to walk, So what are you going to do? So what do we do about that, guys? So
penicillin?
I need an answer. I need answers, guys.
Gold Bond medicated powder?
Okay.
What you need is some old-time salve. Just rub it on, set it, and let it be. You'll be walking straight in just an hour.
Oh.
Take care, and that's from salve.
Oh, wow. we broke Tom again.
Sponsored by Buster Keaton.
He'll get us out of jail. So yeah, I hope you guys check us out next week. We're gonna have a very special guest. And
you said that last week that you were gonna have one this week.
I did, but it was you guys.
We are literally the co-hosts.
Yeah.
We are not guests.
But you guys You guys are special.
No, you said
So
there was gonna
you
be a
are special.
You said you were going to have a surprise fourth for this conversation
Yeah,
today.
my fourth became nothing. So yeah.
You are
But,
literally the boss building morale right now. You
Yeah.
are just like, you guys are special.
Look,
One of a
I couldn't
kind.
be bothered to email people when I was putting together a Oscar-worthy documentary this week. So
Oscar
High
worthy.
praise coming from a man who did it.
yes,
That's awesome.
yes. So
In a world where Trevor Shelby believes he's awesome.
yes,
And also, there were nachos. I don't know.
hell yeah. So yeah, this is the longest outro ever. Let's redo it. Let's redo it. So yeah.
All right, starting from the beginning of the outro.
All right, outro.
All right.
Outro, guys. Outro.
All right.
Let's limber up. Limber up.
Thanks for watching
Yeah, definitely check us
It's
out.
been a pleasure. See you next
and or
week.
listening.
See ya. See ya.
Uh,
Okay, so you guys know the plan.
oh shit! I need to sync my recorder.
Yeah, I got to shrink this down. Go ahead and hit start on my recorder now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay, it's recording.
Okay, so this is the recorder. This is what it looks like. And then you hit the little button, and it starts recording.
You're
And I
late to
want
the
you
party on
guys.
All
Huh?
of us already have it recording. We're waiting.
that. I think Trevor just wants to feel important right now.
I do. And so, okay, so I've got that recording. I'll make sure I've got the other recording. So we've got our audio being recorded. We've got Zoom recording this whole conversation so the Chinese can take it and then study us. And I'm recording our screen as well. So I want you guys to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
At the
Yeah.
synchronized.
Yes.
1, 2,
Well, no,
3,
no.
1, 2, 3.
What? No. Hold up your hand.
8,
I need a
9,
visual
10,
cue.
1, 8, 4.
Oh my God. I need a visual cue.
This podcast is not getting off the ground today.
No, it's not. You got your finger up. You've yet to
I
get
do.
to.
I'm 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 3, 1. What?
Oh
what?
my God. I am never going to get this audio sync. Okay. Well, thank you guys for making my job easier.
It doesn't pay to be the smart one in the group.
No, it doesn't. Oh.
Oh, that's got to go in the
Are
outtakes.
you okay, Tom?
Come on, guys. I'm the one over here getting sauced up.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I'll be right back. Oh, no, wait. Never
there you
mind.
Come on. I don't. Salute, sir. Salute.
Oh shit! I feel left out,
You should.
Mm.
but I don't have anything. Should have went to the
Well-
liquor store first.
Yeah, I
Shoulda,
did.
coulda.
Got me some Knob Creek.
But yeah. So,
1 second.
Take your time. Oh, you
Yeah.
can't hear me. Whatever.
this is a good spot to pause.
Yeah, you
This
guys
is a lot
can,
longer than a
our
second.
listeners. Our listeners can go ahead and take a break now too.
Yeah.
If you need
Yeah.
to go get a drink,
You
take
guys
a
need a
pee.
beer,
Let's
No,
all go to
no.
the lobby.
I had to
Let's
get
all go
something
to the
for
lot.
We're breaking, Tom.
for visual.
Stop.
I need to get a visual aid.
Visual aid.
Yeah.
Oh.
No
Is that
dead air,
what you call
Tom.
it?
No dead air.
Is that what you call it?